Hello, my fellow gaming tankers. We are back with the final video for the Overlord season. Yes, we are going to kiss it goodbye just in a little over 24 hours, if I can get this up on time. Due to the hasty nature of this video, this little overview or review of the season is going to be a little bit ad-libbed, and I'm only going to be touching on a few points. These seasons seem to be getting a little bit longer, so it's hard to keep track of absolutely everything that's going on. And honestly, the kind of last few weeks here were, or at least definitely last month, was far more interesting. Obviously, we had the Banner of Valor operations, an event, which saw a whole bunch of tanks be available for essentially free. I'm pretty sure everyone got something out of that, and yay, can't hate a free-to-play game to be kind of free to play if you're willing to pay with your time, that is. And if you got the cash, thanks for keeping the lights on in Chicago. And like and subscribe if you like free tanks. So obviously right now, this week, we'll start off with the present. Terrain resistance. Part of the Chicago, Wargaming Chicago, being like, alright, we want to make the matches longer. Yay! More than 5 minutes? Good luck, but the first thing, Era 2, Era 3, terrain resistance on the MBTs being increased for the terrains where it makes sense. Okay. Reduce wolf packing. No. Make tanks that were once really fast slower, yeah, and make tanks even slower. Chieftain Mark 11. You'll be seeing some of that later on. This is all one play session. Nothing spectacular, but kind of demonstrates what the Era 3 was like. The terrain resistance. I kind of warmed up to the whole go-kart type aspect of Era 3. It was something that kind of made the game stand out from the small pack of free-to-play tank games. But some people didn't like it. There's the great debate. How much, this is an arcade simulator, but how much of an arcade should it be? And how much should it be a tank simulator? Should it be? And in all honesty, Era 3, the MBTs and the Osario really dominated. You have armor, you have speed, and you have firepower. Kind of made playing certain other tanks unnecessary, unless it was the Malone, which, even with the terrain resistance impacting it, it was still a well-armored, hard-hitting tank destroyer that was still a pain in the butt to face. So, yeah, slowing down the MBTs in the areas where it made sense definitely kind of brought some semblance of what some players would say is balance. It kind of incentivized some people, well, if you want to go fast, you have to play another tank class. However, it also pointed out, and I strongly encourage all of you to, once you have, with one of the changes of having a 4th equipment slot being open, try out Era 2 and Era 3 with the missile detection equipment applied and find out if maybe I'm crazy, but I think it's time to put the ATGMs back to their original acceleration space, especially as we're about to get the the new, next Ultimate Season Era 3 light tank with the fastest ATGMs at over 1,000 meters per second. Yeah, if we're gonna be slowing down tanks, then maybe we should take some of the most decimating munitions in Cold War and maybe put them back to what they were once before the arming distance was put in place. Because, yeah, man, a lot of these maps, by the time you've detected that there's a missile coming your way, it's already hurt you. So, and if you're gonna make the heavy tanks slower with only smoke that may or may not work, I think we're going to have to talk about slowing down the ATGMs and then also finding some other missile deterrent options, like maybe chaff. You got your smoke and you got your chaff. Smoke obscures absolutely everything, makes you detect, I don't know, they're playing around with that, but chaff, it puts little shreds of aluminium in the air and missile goes crazy. Maybe make that automatic, because sometimes your reaction time's just not fast enough. Just my options. What do you think? Comment down below. This terrain resistance, it's necessary, as I've said before. I don't particularly enjoy it from the aspect of having fun, but I guess as one step of stretching out the matches, I think it is a step there. But for Cold War, there's going to be multiple steps. For starters, well, accuracy is something that's been thrown around. Maybe making the tanks, these vehicles, especially the primary boom snouts, not necessarily ATGMs, that's a whole different system, but having there be less, making everything a little less accurate. Well, the thing is, these more modern tanks have these things called fire control systems with computers and gyroscopes and everything to help make them more stable, so you can fire on the move, and if you're sitting still, you're supposed to be really accurate. Well, okay, sitting still, that makes sense, but on the move, okay, alright, hear me out. Certain tanks, yes, with more improved fire control systems, I would say, kind of like with some of the speed, the siege modes that are based on speed. Sorry about that pause. Like you have on the K1. How about maybe say at 20 kilometers and below, you have the very same accuracy you would if you were, well, maybe it's a little worse than if the tank was perfectly still, but once you get over 20 kilometers per hour, yeah, the air accuracy becomes horrible. That's my little, alright, we're trying to find balance, and these modern tanks with fire control systems that allow them to fire on the move can still do that. But again, alright, if you're doing 65 kilometers per hour or more, it's like, come on, there's accuracy be damned. Like, there's just help reduce the whole auto aim master shot, which sometimes is ridiculously impressive, especially at the speeds these Air 3 tanks, MBTs in particular, are pulling off. And then to kind of go along with that, well, some may say that penetration may need to be reduced. I, however, say because some of the armor on these things, let's not reduce penetration, let's reduce alpha damage. Especially on maybe some of the ATGMs as well, and certain tank destroyers. Does this make realistic sense? No, but this is where we're getting into the video game aspect and taking things and just whittling off maybe 75 or 100 HP damage off the overall total can increase your survivability, increase playtime, increase overall match time. Because, yeah, messing with penetration, especially in Air 3, penetration values on tanks, depending on the caliber of the boom sound, it gets really confusing and doesn't always make sense. 105s are almost garbage, but then again, if we're slowing tanks down and lighter tanks with a 105mm boom sounds can now flank and but we're back to kind of like Wargaming's even admitted to it, like, yeah, we're back to a work in progress. Yay, we're game testing stuff, but welcome to Games as a Service. And yes, while this version of World of Tanks has been in existence for 11 years, this Cold War mode has only been around for, what, 5 years now, and certain managerial decisions made years ago are now, I would say, being corrected, and for the better. Thank God we no longer have those filters. Remember the cinematic filters? Yeah, we're glad that's over. So those are my little suggestions on improving game performance or match quality. I don't know how much of that's going to help the Chieftain Mark 11. It's slow and there's a lot of ammo racks, but as you can see, that's why it's an oddball for the MBTs in Era 3. Good luck to anyone trying out the Challenger line for the first time. But yeah, terrain resistance, once it's been implemented to all tanks, all vehicles I should say, it will change how the matches go. Yeah. Aside from this instance, I guess they're taking this slow and steady route of one tank class at a time, and Era 2 was, yeah, that just made MBTs more fodder for the Weissel 1 and certain medium tanks. But hey, nothing like having a game that's 11 years old still have the phrase work in progress in development still attached to it. But hey, it's that kind of zaniness that makes this game interesting, right, kids? Comment down below. Now, on to the next season. The only thing that kind of matters to me, especially if you've been following my streams. So Metal Fest 2025 is back. And in case the hint in the title didn't give it away, I am very certain that I know who the Gods of Thunder are going to be. Especially if you look at the S in Gods. It's very, very similar to the band Kiss. Also, they have a song called God of Thunder. So, I'm pretty certain we're going to have a Kiss tank or tanks. I don't know. We'll see. Maybe we'll have the dual lineup. Maybe not. If that's the case, then I guess it's going to be a World War II tank, and maybe we'll get a Kiss skin from one of the other tanks in Cold War. That's just my spitball idea. I am like 90% certain this is going to be Kiss. Comment down below what you think. I'm predicting the future here. We'll find out probably in a couple weeks. Again, with how the structure of these seasons are being longer and with all the changes that are coming in, so it's one big update. It's everything is now going to be patient, waiting, experience. This is a video game, so we don't see, we kind of experience it, we play it, and see what, or play what happens. Yeah. Sort of thinking I should start a regiment here. I don't know. Probably toy with that idea once to have a Cold War tank in regiments. But so, what do you think, dear viewer, of what is Wargaming Chicago is? Well, they're not definitively saying it. It's like there's a lot of we'll like to do this. We're thinking about doing this. We're acknowledging that you want us to do some of this. They are at least saying, we see you, dear player. However, we are very used to previous management kind of not caring so much about our opinions unless we were really, really persistent. No, the FE4005 is not being put into Era 2. Let it go. Seriously. Let it go. It's a giant ammo rack for any ATGM. Autocannons will decimate it. You just have to accept that it's going to be the one thing in Era 1 that prepares you for tanks being able to one-shot you. Well, multiple vehicles in Era 2 certainly having the capability to one-shot you from anywhere that's 65 kilometers and beyond. Unless, of course, you're talking about a rock crawler or maybe the Object 120, maybe the Mobat. That's about it. Maybe. Those are the maybes. But AT gems, yeah, one good ammo rack. Boom. Off with their heads. So, there's a lot going to be happening. This was the season where there was some knowledge, like some things need to be changed. The game is in need of player base approved improvements. Well, some of them. The rest are kind of like, yeah, you're the developers. You develop some new stuff for us to, play with. Man, that's kind of scary thing to. Yeah, we're gonna have to get used to the game being broken every so often, a little more often, I think, going forwards. But, one season update at a time, couple updates in that season maybe, but I don't think we're gonna have a 6.0 situation. Instead of one giant painful update, they will. If these are bad updates, they'll just be spread out over a short period of time or a long period of time. Makes the pain more bearable. It's almost like their attempt to, spoonful of sugar helps the buggy update go down. Anyway, Metal Fest 2025 is back in. Awesome. This is going to be the beginning of what could be like the whole fun half of the year. It's time to see what new collaborations are coming in and holidays. I'm start thinking about the Awaken mode and obviously Christmas. I wonder what the celebrity collaborations is going to be for Christmas. I'm not yet there yet to start guessing. But anyway, I've said what I wanted to say. Terrain resistance, I will accept it. Dumb fun. The yeehaw fun will be a little hard to combine. Except unless you're in a specific light tanks or a tank destroyer that starts with a Visel. Or anything doesn't have a Visel. So, comment down below what you think. Hope you keep your tracks on the ground. Or favor. No. I hope to catch you in the next one. Goodbye.